So thank you everyone for being here today. And this is the structure of the workshop. It's only an hour long. The first breakout, you'll have 10 minutes, and then you come back to plenary just to get one more set of instructions. You'll go back to second plenary, and then we'll do a report back and closing plenary. Think of today's, what we're doing is for you to outline draft ideas that you will build upon. Or for some of you, you may already be there. You may already have your plans. So don't try to be perfect. If you're just starting, just get started and listen to what others are doing. And today's workshop is focusing on global strategy and local actions for 2021. We want to ensure that the COVID recovery plans for our countries are climate friendly, sustainable, and inclusive. And we also want to see some very serious upgrading of our countries, all of our countries' nationally determined contributions or ambitions ahead of the COP26 UN climate talks. The goals of the workshop are to get a better understanding of the big picture, gather information about your country's NDCs and carbon pricing intentions, and draft plans for your CCI group in 2021. Fair chunk of what we planned often doesn't happen. Like the steady things do, but it just, things are shifting so dramatically that we have to change plans. But if you have a general outline and a goal, it's really easy to get there. This year is a pivotal year, obviously, 2021. With luck, we should have some COVID recovery beginning in earnest. There is the G7 hosted by the UK, and of note, Australia and India are invited guests to the G7 this year. And you should know that behind the scenes since 2017, Citizens Climate Lobby has been working within the civil society. And we've been working really hard this year behind the scenes to get carbon pricing and border carbon adjustments pushed onto the agenda. Even if it doesn't happen, we've educated about 120 civil society groups about carbon pricing and border carbon adjustments. So we're getting there. It's a lot of conversations that have to happen. There's also the G20 hosted by Italy. And then again, the UK is going to be hosting COP26. And really critical is finalizing Article 6 in the Paris Agreement. And for simplicity's sake, I'll just say it's about carbon pricing. And that's what CCL is about. If you signed up for CCL, you've signed up for carbon pricing. No? Yes? Yes? Carbon pricing. Yes, exactly. So, and if you look at the data, the IPCC data and other data, this is just a guesstimate, but we need about a $160 ton USD price by 2030 to attain the 1.5C goal. Canada is actually going to exceed that as long as we don't, lose that election. So I shouldn't say it out loud. And we're hoping that the rest of the world will follow us, because Canada has a carbon fee and dividend policy. And that's the policy that CCL, or Citizens Climate Lobby, has been advocating for since 2010. And sorry for newbies, but I only have like 30 seconds to say what it is. But it's really simple. Put a price on carbon pollution, give the money back to the people equally, and include border carbon adjustments. That's it. That's your lesson. Okay, and we're not against any policy that will reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We build political will for a livable world. And we are using carbon fee and dividend as our goal. It's just a means to an end. And for that, we need evidence-based policies. So whatever gets us there is great. It just has to be based on evidence. And we see the big picture, and what we champion fits in nicely. Okay, so this is the grand picture. I encourage you to go and actually read Build Back by Reinventing Prosperity by Joe Robertson. We've thought really carefully about what the big picture is. And all of you are future builders. Every one of you has the potential to change this planet. The power of one cannot be underestimated when you speak truth to power with love in your hearts. And then you have a team behind you. Health it's just, climate health, human health, planetary health is just should be part of like what we expect. It should be there. And that's what we're, ultimately aiming for. We have to have resilience. We are leaving the Holocene and entering the Anthropocene. The ecological stable climate that we've lived in the last 10,000 years, or however long the Holocene has been, is leaving us. We are going into climate instability. And we have to build resilience at this point, and we have to make sure we leave no one behind. There's no excuse. There's abundance. There's enough food to feed everyone. We just have to change structures. Citizens Climate Lobby focuses on the structure of carbon pollution. We need to design to transcend crises, and we need to maximize everything. So maximize integrated value creation. We cannot create systems that are easily broken apart. Okay, so our food system was laid bare under COVID, because the ecosystem, or whatever you want to call it, that exists for food is not complex enough. So we need to create complexities of structures. Yeah, go read Joe's essay. It's awesome. Okay, so I could go on. Okay, so I hope you all saw the UNEP Oxford poll, the People's Climate Vote, largest survey ever. Go in and dig into that data for your country. There's really, it's country by country. Again, it's on our website, but you can also Google it, and we will be giving these slides to the participants so you can actually click on things. But 64% of the world believe we're in a global emergency, and only 10% think our leaders are doing enough. That's our wedge. And every country, has some very interesting data in there. And I would love to say what it is, but I can't, because I don't have much time. And there's too many countries here. Okay. Okay, so now we're getting into brass tacks. These are really important resources. This should be at the fingertips of every climate activist. There's the Climate Action Tracker, so you can find out where your country is with regards to the NDCs, and we'll be putting those in the chat shortly. There's the Carbon Pricing Dashboard from the World Bank, where you can see where your country is at with regards to carbon pricing. The Carbon Pricing Leadership Coalition is something we recommend that many countries join in order to get the best information to understand about carbon pricing. And then there's States and Trends of Carbon Pricing that comes out every year from the World Bank. And if you can't find stuff for your country with regards to their climate ambitions, you can search online for your country, NDCs, carbon pricing. And I also think this largest survey on climate is critical. All right, okay, this is good. So this is your first task. We have created a shared Google Jamboard. And on that Jamboard, you're going to go to your country's page, and each has its own color. Where your country is at with regards to carbon pricing, you're going to answer, where's your country at with regards to carbon pricing? And we're going to put the suggested slide, references from the previous slide in the chat. And I'm going to need a couple minutes to get you started. But before I do that, I just want to show you the Jamboard. So look, India's already ahead on this. So, and basically you go in there and you figure out any questions, and then we're going to need a couple minutes to get you into breakout. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to start moving you into your breakout rooms, and you're going to have till. Okay, how's that going for everyone? Most people will take a minute or about 30 more seconds to get back in the room, but any comments? Is that helpful to get you kind of narrowed in? Good.
Yeah, we had some good thoughts.
Cool. Well, I'm going to be pushing you back into your breakout rooms shortly. It's just doing a whirlwind tour of. And the next part is really fast. So you've thought about You've thought about where your country is at, and now it's time to start planning. CCL has a methodology that is really, I think, brilliant. They just put everything into 5 buckets. So you have your local chapter development or your country development. So that's like just nurturing and growing your group of people that will help you do the work. And then we do grassroots or community engagement. We go in and give public conversations, and we share and we educate, because sharing and educating is very critical, as well as we go to trusted leaders or do grass tops engagement. So go to business leaders, religious leaders, people who are very popular on social media even. So you engage with them. Then we do media relations and publishing, whether that be on social media or mainstream media. And then lastly, we lobby our government. So we put these things into 5 buckets. That's a very, very fast training. And for those of you who would like more training on how to do all this work, we can give it to you. But that's usually we spend about 10 minutes on that. I gave it like 2 minutes. So this is what you're going to think of. Given the 5 levers of political will and the organizational capacity that you and your group have in your country, what focused actions can you realistically do to improve your country's NDCs and political will for carbon pricing in 2021? Outline a draft list of actions with assigned rules, estimated timelines, and put them on the Jamboard for your country in a spectrum of impact versus effort. So some things like, having a huge conference with everybody there has a huge impact, but it has a lot of effort. Saying nice things to your politicians on social media is very easy. So you put that down on a low effort, and it has some impact. And we're going to give 3 examples. I'm going to give the first 2, and then Mike is going to give the last one. We have a person who's alone in a country that is not a member of the European Union, who just started CCL in his country. And he's determined, because he's a business person, and Switzerland is very much, the business people are the heavy lobbyists of the government. He's determined he's going to give a couple brown bag lunches, bringing in carbon fee and dividend experts from his country to give presentations to business. So that's all he wants to do in the next 2 to 3 months. And then he's going to figure out where to go from there. Very realistic, right? He knew what his strengths were. He knew what his country needed. Here in Canada, we've been around for a decade. And I have to say, this year, realizing how important this year is, most of our groups are actually really committed to having a monthly meeting on Zoom. Zoom, one of the gifts of COVID, has made it really easy for us to have monthly meetings, because we're so, like, as groups, right? Because it's so hard to get everybody all in one place. I live in a community very widespread, and our volunteers run from, they're 120 kilometers apart from one end to the other. So to get them into a room all at once is a lot of effort, but Zoom has made this really easy. So one of the many of our chapters across Canada have committed to meeting once a month. Canada meets about 6 times a month, and people come in and talk with us. So anyways, and Mike's going to give the last example from Africa, and then we're going to pop you back into your breakout rooms for about 15 minutes.
Hi, everyone. This is David Michael. I'm happy to meet you all. So one example of those kind of activities you can do, and it's exactly what we are planning to do across Africa ahead of Friday, March 19th, Climate Day of Action. So ahead of COP26, as Kathy rightly said, it's about Article 6, and it's all about carbon pricing. Now, we want to prick our government to ensure that they include in their NDCs or their revised NDCs carbon financing, carbon fee and dividend. as a policy. So we would, on this day and throughout the month of March and April, be writing letters to our government, those offices designated with the responsibility of revising our country's NDCs. So across Africa, our leaders will be writing letters and submitting to the government, and not just submitting, we take pictures possibly, we tweet them out, and we put it out there in the public space as well. This is quite easy to do. It's very cost effective. In some cases, the letters may just have to be posted, but we always prefer that the letters are submitted, physically if it's possible, and all of that. And I think that Africa and Asia is almost same in some circumstances, and it's what I will encourage all of us to do if our countries are not already looking at carbon pricing. Even if they are, you can also send them a letter thanking them for their efforts and asking them to hasten up, because the carbon border adjustment program is just around the corner. EU is considering it, UK is considering it, Canada is already at it, and the US, we know, we join up. And that will be a big issue for countries in Africa and some countries in Asia as well. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to put you back into your breakout rooms. You ready? And if you need to stretch, because you got to give me a minute. So if you need to get up and dance, to get your energy out. Exactly. Exactly. I love it. Go for it while I'm pushing you into breakout rooms. Thank you.
And you'll be reporting back as well. So take notes.
It's report back time. So I would like a 1-minute report from each of the countries. Did you assign someone to do that? Australia, do you want to just give us highlights about what's happening? What you think, what you have plans for 2021?
Sure. Well, the highest impact thing is we're aiming to have local groups in every electorate by 2023. Obviously, that when all of that impact happens, some of that impact happens after COP26, but it'll help move us along. We have big lobby sessions planned in April and October, following a conference in the previous month, and we've got a big grass tops outreach project that's just starting. So we'll be reaching out to big countries, big companies, and high influence people significantly over the next few months, which is really important. And this one too, fundraising. We just started a big fundraising program with a view to having being able to appoint a staff member, our first staff member, hopefully within the next month or two, so that we can be better coordinated and better resourced, and have more better resourcing for our volunteers. Those are the big ones coming up, and that's probably my minute.
That's awesome. And just for the record, they've been around since 2013. So that's why there's, for perspective. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, that's excellent. The increased volunteers. Sorry, but do you want to say anything else, Caleb? Just to comment on what's going on in your country. Are you able to do that? Well, they have a Facebook page, they have a plan, they have a board, and they're working across chapters, which is just awesome. Go ahead. Sorry. Okay.
Sorry, ma'am. I could not hear. Actually, I could not write in this page you gave me. I was just typing a few minutes ago. I had talked with David regarding the 2021. Not only increase the volunteers, we have taken some initiatives like uh, maybe in the coming month, we'll have a meeting with the climate minister, and through one of our new volunteers, and she's though our new volunteers, but she is working with the media. You know, the Usha Firdaus, she is arranging a meeting with us, in between us and the climate minister. And we hope to get some feedback from that meeting.
That's very exciting. He's got a TV reporter working with their group in Bangladesh and making connections to their government. It's so beautiful and so amazing. It's just magic what you can do. Okay, India, anything you would like to report? How's it going over there?
Yeah, can you hear? Vishal is going to report. Unfortunately, we could not write on the Jamboard. Somehow we did not get it. I did not have the access.
Okay.
Vishal. Vishal, are you there?
Ritu, he might be having some issues with him. So you can,
The audio is not good.
I think he's having some internet issues. Ratsa, I think you should go forward.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So
go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, so we had a brainstorming on what is happening with India, and of course there is a government policy to see development at all costs. Although we are on track to meet the NDCs Paris Agreement, but at the same time we are also as a country looking to mm, renew and even restart coal mining. That has become a priority at this moment, and then new mines have been opened. So what we are looking is to build up a consensus. We are what we had planned is to have chapters in each state by the end of this year, and probably start a conversation about climate income rather than climate dividend and climate fee and a dividend, because I think climate income would be probably more uh, would be more concise and it would appeal to people. So we plan to try to get an op-ed published in regional newspapers across the country during the year, and that's the way forward for us, and then build up the organization. It's quite new now, and we want more, and we want more people to come in and join us. Thank you.
It's very good goals. And yes, climate
Prachi, you want to add something if I have missed out?
No, sir, I think we are on track. That's what we planned, I think, just to increase some of the volunteers every month and have a regular meeting, which would be very important, I guess, just to keep the continuum.
Excellent. Okay, we're going to be about 8 minutes over, but we started late. So, okay, Japan and New Zealand, and then we take a group photo and we're done.
Maybe I should. Okay, for carbon pricing, we have, I think, 1 year time that will be submitted to the Congress next year, we suppose. So we squeeze some of our NGO members to the Council of Ministry, or that kind of strategy we can take. But for NDC, we will be seeing the US update maybe, but our energy plan of the country will be within 2 months of the next update. So we have no much time for the what the percentage of the regenerative energy and nuclear energy or something like that. So we are discussing, but we couldn't reach what to do. So we will be continuing discussing. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, the ball is really, things are really shifting in Japan. So it's hard to plan, I think, but it is great. I mean, and you meet regularly and done all the training. So this is really good. And New Zealand.
Yeah, I'm back.
Welcome back. Okay, we're on New Zealand and then we take a group photo.
Yes, well, very quickly, in New Zealand, we already have carbon pricing in the form of an ETS, but it hasn't been very successful. We now have a goal of net zero by 2050, and we have an independent climate change commission modelled on the UK one, which is just releasing its first advice report now. It's in consultation, so we're involved in that. We think that in New Zealand, I mean, the Climate Change Commission is saying that the carbon price probably needs to get to $300 a tonne by 2050. And we just question, how can you achieve that with an ETS that has basically not been very effective? And so we're going to recommend that they consider carbon dividends for all the additional revenue that would come from that ETS to try and make it more popular and politically viable, and also consider the carbon fee as well, because the ability to signal prices years in advance is much better with a carbon fee than it is with an ETS.
Good.
That is very good. Thank you. And just very briefly, the United Kingdom in 2008 formed a committee that has teeth that can really make things happen. It's called the United Kingdom Climate Change Committee, and it actually directs a lot of what Parliament does. So it is actually one of Canada's strategies to have that sort of UK model as well. So going forward and seeing that New Zealand has it and how successful it has been in the United Kingdom, that might be something that you all might want to consider as part of your planning. Maybe not for this year, but just to think out. Okay, I need to take pictures. So can everybody give me your videos, please. Ready? I'm going to take 2 or 3 pictures. 1, 2, there's 1. Okay. It takes me a moment. 7th. Okay, and another one. 1, 2, 3. And it's looking good. I'm going to do one more just so I can have some fun.
Would you like all thumbs up for you?
Oh yeah, thumbs up would be great. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. I love the thumbs up and peace signs too. That's great. Oh, that's the best picture of all. Good idea. Was that you, Tom?
I think somebody was before me. There were lots of thumbs up before I offered that.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so that's it. We did it.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. I hope this was good. I hope this helps, and we'll meet again. I think this was valuable to have you all on this call. So we'll think about that. I'll talk to the group leaders. See you soon. I'm going to stick around. If you have any questions or comments, I'm here. I'm not leaving for a couple minutes. So